Alicia was a planet of vibrancy where the air thrummed with the energy of countless species trading, laughing, and sharing stories. Evan Hayes, a seasoned trader with a penchant for adventure, maneuvered through the bustling marketplace. Stalls overflowed with a kaleidoscope of colors, merchants shouted in a mix of languages that danced on the ears like music. "Evan, look at this," shouted Mike Reynolds, Evan's friend and fellow trader, as he waved an iridescent trinket, its surfaces shimmering like a fish in sunlight. "What is it this time?" Evan replied, chuckling. Mike always seemed to find the most absurd items. "It's supposed to bring good luck. Or was it a curse?" "I can't remember," Mike quipped, grinning widely. They both laughed, but Evan's attention drifted as something unusual caught his eye. A tall figure moved between the stalls, her silhouette radiating an air of grace. She had a strange, alluring beauty with long flowing hair that seemed to change colors in the light. Evan squinted, intrigued. "Hey, I'll catch up with you later," he said, brushing past Mike, who raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. He knew the look. Evan closed the distance, dodging shoppers and stalls filled with eccentric wares. As he approached, he noticed the woman's eyes, vivid and bright, swirling with shades of blue and green. "Excuse me," he said, finding his voice, "I couldn't help but notice you. You have the most captivating presence in this whole market." The woman turned toward him, a slight smile playing on her lips. "Thank you. I'm just exploring. It's all so vibrant here." "I'm Evan," he said, extending a hand. "Are you visiting Alicia?" "Alara," she replied, placing her hand in his briefly. The touch sent an unexpected jolt through him. "Yes, I'm here for reasons." "Ah, the mysteries of intergalactic travel. I'm just here to scrounge up some interesting trade items. Have you tried Xanthian figs? They're delightful." Alara chuckled softly, a sound like wind chimes. "No, I haven't." "What are they?" "They're a local delicacy. Sweet and tangy with a texture that melts in your mouth." He glanced at a nearby stall, spotting a vendor selling the figs. "Would you like to try one?" Her smile widened. "Are they safe?" "I've heard tales of foods that, well, let's just say they don't end well." Evan laughed. "In that case, I can promise you they won't explode. At least, not that I know of." With a playful twinkle in her eye, she replied, "All right then, lead the way." They weaved through the throngs of people until they reached the stall. The vendor was an older being with multiple eyes, and he greeted Evan with a knowing nod. "2 figs, please," Evan said. "Wise choice, human. They're fresh today." The vendor handed over 2 figs, their skin glistening under the sun. Evan took one and handed it to Alara. "Go on, try it." She hesitated, but the spark of adventure in her eyes pushed her to take a bite. After chewing, her face lit up in delight. "This is amazing." "You didn't believe me?" he teased, enjoying the moment. "Okay, I admit it, you were right. But I'll need to try yours now," she said, exchanging bites. As their fingers brushed, a current of unspoken tension flickered between them, but it was invigorating rather than terrifying. "Where do you come from?" Evan inquired, wanting to learn more. "I'm from a place far different than this," she replied, her tone slightly wistful. "It's very structured, very planned. Alicia is refreshing but overwhelming. Yeah, it can be chaotic. But that's what makes it exciting. The unpredictability." Alara nodded, glancing around at the energetic market with newfound appreciation. "You seem to thrive on it." Evan smirked. "Most of the time. But you get used to it. What do you do back home?" "Something adventurous, I hope." "Hardly," she said, a hint of sadness flashing across her face. "I'm more of a figurehead. Duties and protocols keep me busy." "Duties?" Evan didn't want to pry, her eyes hinted at a weight she carried. "Well, Alara, if it helps, you're doing a fantastic job of being a person here." "Thank you," she whispered, sincerity lacing her words. "I think spending time with someone like you is enlightening." Evan could feel the connection deepening. "And I think you need to treat yourself like a person, not just a figurehead. Come on, what about a tour of the best food spots? You can pick what we eat next." Alara smiled, the kind of smile that hinted at freedom and joy mingling. "That sounds wonderful." Over the next few hours, they explored hidden corners of the marketplace. The two navigated alleyways filled with food stalls and artisan shops, each moment punctuated with laughter. "You have a strange way of making a person feel special, Evan," she commented, playfully nudging him as they munched on glowing candy. "Special?" "No, you make me feel special," he replied, shrugging off the compliment, a light blush creeping onto his cheeks. "I just treat you like any traveler. You deserve to experience everything." As they sat on a low wall overlooking a fountain splashing in the bustling square, the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow around them. "Thank you for today," Alara said softly, her gaze lingering on him. "I think I needed this more than I realized." "Anytime," Evan replied, feeling the electricity in the air. Tomorrow, let's explore the gardens? I hear they are beautiful at sunset. That sounds perfect, she said, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. But I must warn you, my schedule is rather hectic. Let's live in the now, he suggested, feeling bold. No schedules here, just us. Alara smiled, leaning in closer, her aura captivating. Their faces barely inches apart, the world faded into a soft hum. Evan felt an undeniable pull, loss, and hope battling for dominance in his heart. Before he could overthink, he closed the distance. Their lips brushed together tentatively, igniting fireworks in his chest. Wow! Alara breathed, pulling back slightly, her cheeks flushed. Wow! He echoed, grinning like a fool. Maybe this market isn't so overwhelming after all, she teased, her laughter filling the space between them. An invitation to the next adventure. Evan grinned wider, knowing he had stumbled into something unique, something extraordinary, under the shimmering lights of Alicia. What began as an encounter was fast becoming an experience neither would soon forget. Chapter 2. An unexpected invitation. The morning sun bathed Alicia in a warm glow, its light dancing off the buildings that towered like sculptures in a grand exhibition. Evan awoke with a sense of excitement swirling in his chest, thoughts of his evening with Alara bubbling to the surface. Today, he planned to whisk her away to the Elysian Gardens, rumored to be a place of unparalleled beauty. Just as he was about to step out of his quarters, his communicator buzzed. "Evan, are you still in bed?" Mike's voice came through, teasing yet urgent. "I'm getting ready, don't worry." "What's up?" "We need to talk about the shipment coming in. You know, the one with the—" "Not now, Mike. I have plans today." "Plans? With who?" Evan sighed, glancing at a small mirror to check his appearance. "With someone special. I'll catch you later." "Someone special, huh? Is it that alien princess?" Mike teased, a mix of surprise and eagerness in his tone. "Maybe," Evan replied, unable to suppress his grin. "Just don't ask too many questions. You better not bring back some weird space fruit for me to taste." Mike laughed, but Evan had already cut the call short, too excited to continue. Evan arrived at the market, anticipation bubbling within him. He scanned the crowd, searching for the striking figure of Alara. When he spotted her, his heart skipped a beat. She was standing in front of a stall, examining colorful fabrics that billowed gently in the morning breeze. "Alara!" he called out, waving. She turned, her face lighting up as she saw him. "Evan, you made it." "Of course I did. I wouldn't miss our adventure for the world." He moved in closer, careful not to startle her. "What is the surprise you have for me?" she asked, her eyes glimmering with curiosity. "The Elysian Gardens," he replied, gesturing with enthusiasm. "They are supposed to be incredible. But first, you need an outfit fit for the occasion." She raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "What do you have in mind?" Evan grinned. "Let's find something that will make you feel as incredible as you are." Together, they browsed the stall, options ranging from flowing gowns to embellished tunics. Alara held up a deep blue garment that shimmered like the ocean. "What about this one?" "That's stunning," Evan said. "You'd look absolutely radiant in that." With a playful smirk, Alara handed the garment to the vendor. "I'll take it." "Good choice," Evan agreed, already imagining how amazing she would look among the blooming flowers of the gardens. "Now let's get going. The gardens won't wait." They made their way through the market, exchanging stories as they walked. "So, Alara, what's your favorite food from home?" he asked, genuinely curious. "Oh, definitely zentrakhani. It's a spiced stew with vegetables and grains unique to my home planet. We have a festival every year dedicated to it," she explained, her face lighting up at the memory. "Festival food? Now you're speaking my language. I love festivals." "So, what do they do there? Dance, sing?" She chuckled. "Oh, much more than that. There are games, performances, and lots of delicious food. It's a grand spectacle." "Sounds amazing. I've got to experience that one day," Evan said, his sincerity evident. As they approached the entrance to the gardens, Evan felt a flicker of nervousness. He wanted this day to be perfect. "Ready?" he asked, trying to gauge her excitement. "Ready," Alara replied, her smile infectious. As they entered, the scenery swept them away. Vibrant flowers of every hue filled the landscape, intertwining with lush greenery and streams glistening like jewels under the sun. Wow, Alara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. It's more beautiful than I imagined. I thought you might like it, Evan said, feeling a sense of pride at having brought her here. More than that, she replied, her gaze sweeping across the blooming petals. This is incredible. They wandered deeper into the gardens, pausing to admire unique plants and engage in playful banter. At one point, Evan picked a flower that changed colors when touched, handing it to Alara with a flourish. For you, milady, he said, grinning. Oh my, thank you, brave knight. What else do you have to offer? She laughed, tucking the flower behind her ear. Well, I can tell you some of my most embarrassing moments, Evan suggested playfully. Now you have my undivided attention, she chuckled, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Fine. So, once I mistook an alien food for something else entirely. I took a big bite, only to find out it was a type of spicy fruit that left me gasping. Alara threw her head back, laughing loudly. What was it? A Gorthian pepper, think of it as a fiery alien chili. Let's just say I was not the popularity king after that. He swayed, pretending to sweat to elicit more laughter. I have to say, Alara smiled, I find it incredibly endearing that you can laugh at yourself. Evan felt a warmth spread through him. Thanks. Life is too short to take too seriously, right? Exactly. Being serious takes a lot of energy, she quipped. I prefer to enjoy moments like these. Their laughter echoed in the gardens until they found a secluded spot under a grand tree, its branches wide enough to provide shelter from the sun. Evan flopped down on the soft grass, inviting Alara to join him. Okay, your turn now. What's embarrassing about you? He challenged, his eyes twinkling. Alara hesitated, her cheeks tinged pink. All right, I guess I can share. Once, during an important ceremony, I tripped over my own feet and toppled into a fountain. Evan burst into laughter. A ceremony? That's incredible. Did people laugh? Of course. It was a cultural faux pas. I had to recompose myself in front of everyone. Soaking wet. Her laugh was infectious. As the sun continued to climb, they shared stories that wove their lives together, blurring the lines of distance that separated their worlds. You know, I've never met anyone like you. Alara, Evan said, his tone shifting to sincere. You have a spark that lights up everything around you. She looked at him, appreciation filling her gaze. Thank you, Evan. And I've never felt this comfortable with anyone before. Their eyes held for a long moment before Alara leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Just don't ask me to dance. I can be an awful dancer. Evan smirked. I bet I can persuade you otherwise. You really think you're up for the challenge? She challenged playfully. I'm always up for a good challenge, he replied, determination shining through his teasing grin. As the day unfolded around them, laughter, stories, and a budding connection filled the air, weaving an invisible thread between two worlds, a connection that would lead to unknown adventures. Chapter 3, The Gala. The evening had arrived, cloaking Alicia in hues of dusk that shimmered like a dream. Evan adjusted his formal attire, nervously straightening his collar and then slipping on a tailored jacket. His heart raced as he thought about the gala, the event where Alara had invited him as her escort. Hey, you clean up well, Mike remarked, stepping into Evan's quarters unannounced. He appraised his friend, an impressed grin spreading across his face. Looks like you're going to impress someone tonight. Let's hope so, Evan chuckled, glancing at his reflection in the mirror. But I reckon the real star will be Alara. Ah yes, the mysterious alien princess you've been swooning over, Mike teased, giving Evan a light jab in the ribs. Just remember, don't trip on any ballroom floors. I'll do my best, Evan replied, shaking his head and trying to suppress his nerves. Thanks for stopping by, but I need to focus. Of course. Good luck, man. You'll need it. As Mike left, Evan took a deep breath. He had to treat Alara like the amazing person she was, not just a princess. Arriving at the gala venue, Evan was greeted by the sight of an enormous hall filled with twinkling lights and elaborate decor. The atmosphere buzzed with the chatter of distinguished guests, each representing a multitude of different species in extravagant clothing. As Evan stepped inside, his gaze swept the room, only to be met with Alara, who was a vision in a stunning deep blue gown. accentuating her figure while gracefully flowing around her. She looked utterly at ease, though a hint of nerves played on her features. "Evan, you made it," she exclaimed, rushing over, a delighted smile lighting up her face. "You look incredible," Evan said, his voice barely a whisper. Suddenly, the grandeur around him paled in comparison to her radiance. "And you clean up nicely, too," Alara replied, her eyes glimmering with warmth. "I was beginning to worry you'd get lost on the way." "Never. I'm here to sweep you off your feet." He extended his arm, an invitation filled with playful charm. "Is that so?" Alara feigned disbelief, slipping her arm through his. "Well then, lead the way, brave knight." As they made their way deeper into the venue, Evan guided her past conversations and laughter, the air thick with excitement. He spotted a refreshment station and gestured toward it. "How about we start with a drink? I hear the galactic breeze is quite popular." "Sure. What's in it?" she asked, curiosity dancing in her eyes. "Something fruity and far too sweet, but refreshing," he replied with a grin. "Welcome to the experience." They reached the station, where a vendor served colorful concoctions. Evan opted for 2 drinks, handing one to Alara. "To a night of adventure," he declared, raising his glass. "To adventure," she echoed, clinking her drink against his. Just then, a voice called out from a distance. "Princess Alara. There you are." A suitor with sharp features and an air of confidence approached them, wearing an elaborate outfit that showcased his status. Evan recognized him as Prince Philin, someone who had been vying for Alara's attention. "Phil, good to see you," Alara said, her voice a mix of politeness and enthusiasm, a smile plastered on her face. "Yes, well, it seems that I've found you with quite the companion tonight," Phil remarked, his eyes flickering from Alara to Evan. "I didn't realize you had company, Alara." Evan tightened his grip on his drink. "Just a friendly night out." "But it seems like more than just friendly," Phil replied smoothly. He turned back to Alara. "You should allow me the chance to show you around, princess. This is a royal event after all." Alara's serene expression faltered for a moment, but she regained her composure. "Thank you, but I'm quite happy right here." "Are you? Or perhaps you'd prefer to mingle with your own kind?" Phil pressed, a hint of challenge in his tone. Evan wasn't about to let Phil rattle him. "Alara's with me tonight, and I think she's having a great time so far." "And who might you be?" Phil shot back, irritation flickering in his eyes. "Just a traitor from Earth," Evan said, maintaining eye contact with Phil. "Here to show Alara a good time." Alara squeezed Evan's arm gently. "Evan is right. I came here to enjoy myself." "Very well," Phil replied, his voice cool and dismissive. "Keep her entertained if you can." As he walked away, Evan turned to Alara, concern written across his face. "I didn't mean to, well, you know." "It's okay. Thank you for standing up for me," Alara said, the relief evident in her voice. "How does he keep getting away with this?" Evan asked, attempting to brush off any tension that lingered. "You deserve to enjoy yourself." "And I intend to," she said, her tone unfazed. "Do you want to dance? The floor looks inviting." "Absolutely," Evan replied with a smile, his earlier nerves dissipating. They approached the dance floor, where music flowing through the air resonated with a rhythm that invited movement. As they stepped onto the polished floor, Evan extended his hand toward Alara. "Shall we?" he asked. With a nod, she slid her hand into his, allowing him to guide her. As they began to dance, Evan was surprised by how easily their movements synchronized. Alara leaned in closer, their bodies swaying in unison as if they had danced together for years. "This is fun," she exclaimed, her laughter intertwining with the music. "See? I knew you'd enjoy it," Evan said, grinning. "You've got some impressive moves." "I could say the same for you," she returned playfully, watching him with admiration. As they twirled and spun together, the rest of the world faded away and Evan felt light on his feet, lost in the moment. He caught glimpses of people watching, a combination of envy and intrigue playing across their faces. "I'm so glad you invited me here," Alara said, her eyes sparkling with joy. "This is everything I hoped it would be." "I'm happy to hear that," he replied, allowing the music to guide their movements. "Your happiness matters to me." At that moment, the music slowed and Alara leaned even closer to him. "Thank you, Evan. You make me feel free." "Good." And pulling her deeper into the rhythm. "Let's show these people how it's really done." They laughed, their movements becoming more animated, drawing attention from others. Turn after turn, cheers erupted around them, each escalation of energy only fueling their excitement. After what felt like hours, they took a break, stepping aside near a balcony area overlooking the dazzling scenery. "That was incredible." Alara gasped, breathless. "I didn't know you could dance like that." "I surprise myself sometimes," Evan laughed lightly. "But I wasn't going to let you down." Just then, Phil reappeared, arms crossed, and a smug expression etched on his face. I must say that was quite a performance. You certainly attract attention, princess. Alara tilted her chin up defiantly. Perhaps I'd just like to dance, something you wouldn't understand. Touché, he replied, the smugness faltering. But don't forget, you have a duty to your kind. Evan felt a surge of protectiveness. She's not surprised to be one, Phil. She's a person with choices. Alara met Evan's gaze, appreciation swelling within her. Exactly. I can choose who I want to be with, and tonight, it's with Evan. Phil's eyes narrowed and he took a step back. Very well, but just remember, the princess may be free to choose, but that doesn't mean she should. Evan held Alara's gaze, feeling a sense of unity between them. She's more than a princess. She's Alara, and that's who I want to be here with. As Phil turned to leave, Alara's smile blossomed like the flowers in the gardens. Thank you, Evan. I truly appreciate how you stand by me. Always, he replied, feeling a sense of warmth enveloping them. Now, how about we get back to that dancing, she suggested, excitement glowing in her eyes. They both chuckled and headed back to the floor, ready to lose themselves in the music once more, each beat echoing their growing connection, each laugh binding their worlds together more tightly than before. Chapter 4, Challenges and Choices. The aftermath of the gala left Evan feeling as if he were walking on air, buoyed by laughter, music, and Alara's unwavering smile. Days seemed to blend into one another as they explored Alicia together, sharing food, stories, and the undeniable chemistry that had flourished between them. Yet, beneath the joyous surface, a shadow lurked. The reality of Alara's royal obligations loomed large. One afternoon, as they sat beneath the sprawling boughs of a luminescent tree in the Elysian Gardens, Evan noticed the weight on her shoulders. Something on your mind? He asked gently, taking a sip of a bright drink. Alara sighed, her gaze lost in the azure sky. It's just, the gala was incredible, but I've been feeling the pressure of my responsibilities back home. People expect certain things from me. Evan frowned. Like what? To conform to the role of a princess? Yes. There's constant pressure to marry and align our house with another noble family. It's a game of politics, Alara confessed, her voice tinged with frustration. I didn't ask for this life. You should choose what you want, he said firmly, leaning closer. You deserve to be happy. She met his gaze, a horizon of emotions visible in her eyes. I know, but there are consequences to choices like that. If I defy the expectations, the consequences could affect not just me, but my family and our people. Alara, what about your happiness? Evan urged, feeling a knot tighten in his chest. You can't sacrifice your life for political games. She smiled weakly. You speak so boldly for someone with a relatively simple life. You don't understand the weight of these traditions. Maybe not, but I know what it's like to feel trapped, he said, feeling vulnerable. I've been there chasing dreams while others dictate what I should do. It's suffocating. Still, there's a difference, Alara murmured, her fingers tracing the vibrant petals of a nearby flower. My family carries the weight of our entire civilization. My choices reflect on them. Then maybe it's time to have a talk with them, Evan suggested, his mind racing. Talk about what you want and need. It could change everything. Talk? With the council? That's not so simple, she replied, her eyes downcast. It's all so complicated. Complicated doesn't mean impossible, he insisted. You've faced so much already. You can face this too. Alara took a deep breath, collecting her thoughts. I thought escaping for a little while would help. I thought it would give me clarity. But instead, it just complicates matters even further. It's not complicating things, it's shedding light on who you are, Evan countered. You are more than just a princess. You're Alara, vibrant, passionate, and full of life. You need to own that. Evan, you're just a traitor, she said, her tone light but her eyes serious. How could you possibly understand? Maybe I don't understand the royal burdens, but I do understand what it feels like to yearn for something more, he replied softly. You deserve to find that for yourself. The silence grew heavy between them, each second stretching as they wrestled with their thoughts. Finally, Alara spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. What if I choose differently? What if I choose you? Evan's heart raced. Then I'd be the luckiest guy in the universe, but I won't ask you to make that choice. I want you to make it for yourself. Alara looked down, the light in her eyes flickering. Have you thought this through? I think about it every moment, he admitted, feeling the weight of his words. This moment we share matters to me more than I can explain. But I won't put you in a position where you feel trapped again. She studied him, a mix of admiration and fear flickering across her face. But what about Phil? He's well-connected and can provide stability. Stability isn't a reason to stay. It's a prison without walls, Evan replied, his voice steady. If you're with him just for security, you'll never truly be happy. Maybe you're right, Alara sighed, running a hand through her hair. But I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to disappoint my family. I get it. But you have the right to be happy even if it's hard for them to accept, Evan said. What do you want? A tense silence filled the air as Alara pondered the gravity of her choices. I want freedom, freedom to explore the galaxies without shackles, free to make choices about my own life and who I share it with. Then let's explore that freedom together, he encouraged, nerves bubbling within him. You could start by speaking with your family. Let them know how you feel. What if they don't understand? She asked, vulnerability etched into her features. Then that's their problem, not yours, he replied, feeling a sense of resolve wash over him. You deserve to speak your truth. Alara took a moment to consider, squeezing Evan's hand lightly. I guess it's time I face them, time to voice my desires, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Exactly. Evan could sense the courage building within her. And however it shakes out, remember you have me by your side. Thank you, Evan. You've given me strength I didn't know I needed, she said, her gaze softening as appreciation radiated from her. As they sat beneath the tree, a sense of accomplishment filled the space. A commitment to pursue their futures together blossomed, fueled by determination and the promise of shared adventures. Let's go back to the market, Alara proposed, her eyes brightening. I need to pick up something unusual and inspiration. Lead the way. Evan responded enthusiastically, standing and offering his hand to her. They ventured back into the lively expanse of the marketplace, the cacophony of buzzing voices and merchant cries engulfing them. The colors around them were alive, each stall brimming with goods and treasures. This next stall is my favorite. It has the oddest assortment of items, Alara said, gesturing toward a vendor selling jars filled with iridescent powders and mysterious trinkets. What do you think will inspire you? Evan asked, scanning the eclectic mix displayed before them. Something that represents choice and freedom, she replied animatedly, thumb brushing over a shimmering pendant dangling from a stall. Together, they explored the various curios, exchanging comments about the oddities they found. Evan picked up a small device that hummed softly. What's this one? That's a harmonizer. Puts out pleasant sounds that soothe the mind, Alara explained, eyes gleaming. Perfect for helping you think during tough conversations, he suggested with a chuckle. Exactly. Maybe I should buy it, she mused, considering the vibrant display. As she contemplated her choices, Evan felt a rush of confidence. She was beginning to take charge of her life, and he was more than ready to support her. Let's get it, he encouraged. A harmonic reminder of your strength as you prepare to face your family. Alara smiled, and the warmth in her eyes made his heart skip. Thanks, Evan. I'll need it. With the pendant now in her possession, Alara took a deep breath, her determination shining through. I'll speak to them soon. No hesitations this time. Just remember, whatever happens, I've got your back, he reassured her, feeling moments of clarity. I know, she said, inching closer to him. And for that, I'm grateful. They continued to explore the market, light-hearted banter flowing seamlessly as they reveled in each other's company. For a brief time, the worries of their worlds faded into the background, leaving room for laughter, joy, and an unbreakable bond, one defined by choices made and the adventures yet to unfold. Chapter 5, The Choice. The day had finally arrived. Alara paced nervously in her royal chambers, her heart racing as she stared out at the sprawling gardens below. Flowers brimmed with color, their vibrant hues reflecting the inner turmoil swirling within her. Today, she would confront her family, the council, and voice her true desires. Alara. A knock broke her reverie. It was Lady Mara, her trusted advisor and lifelong friend. Are you ready? Alara turned, forcing a smile. I suppose I am. Or at least, I will be. Mara stepped into the room, her expression a mixture of encouragement and concern. You don't have to do this alone. I'm right beside you. Thank you, Mara, Alara said, appreciating her unwavering support. But what if they don't understand? What if they insist on my marrying Phil? Then you stand your ground, Mara replied firmly, crossing her arms. You know what you want. This is your life, Alara, not theirs. You're right, Alara said, feeling a wave of determination wash over her. I just wish Evan could be here, too. You can summon him if you need, Mara suggested. But remember, you hold the power in this conversation. Trust yourself. Taking a deep breath, Alara nodded. All right, let's do this. The council chamber loomed ahead, its high ceilings and ornate decor emblematic of the royal family's authority. As they entered, the murmurs of the council members quieted, all eyes turning toward Alara. Princess Alara, began Counselor Vark, an elder known for his traditional views. What brings you before us today? Today is about choices, Alara said, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. I wish to address my future and the expectations placed upon me. The council exchanged glances, some wary, others intrigued. What do you mean by expectations? Vark pressed. I mean the expectations regarding my marriage, particularly the arrangement with Prince Philin, she replied, her heart pounding in her chest. Whispers followed her words like a whirlwind across the chamber. The prince is a powerful ally, another counselor remarked. His family could strengthen our position. Yes, but at what cost? Alara countered, holding her ground. I would be sacrificing my happiness for politics. Vark frowned, rising from his seat. You know the stakes, Alara. The future of our house rests on this alliance. Are you willing to gamble it? I'm willing to stake my happiness over a union crafted for power, she said, an edge of defiance creeping into her tone. I do not want to be a pawn in a game. Your desires matter, too, Lady Mara interjected, stepping forward beside Alara. She deserves a voice, one that resonates beyond these walls. A younger counselor, Zeth, leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. But what about love? Would you not want to marry for something greater than mere alignment? Alara's heart fluttered. Exactly. I want to choose love, and I believe I have found it. You have found it? Vark frowned, clearly displeased. With whom? Evan. A traitor from Earth, Alara stated firmly, spine straight as she locked eyes with the council members. He treats me like a person, not a title. He sees me. The reaction was immediate, a mix of disbelief and disapproval spread across the elders' faces like wildfire. A traitor? You would choose him over a prince? Vark asked, incredulous. Yes. His heart is as vast as the universe, she replied passionately. He treats me without expectation, without obligation. I've never felt more alive. But this is not just about you, Vark shot back. It's about our entire house. You cannot make a decision that could jeopardize our standing. I refuse to be a sentence in a political alliance. I choose my own path, Alara said, voice unwavering. If the council cannot support me in this, then perhaps I no longer belong here. The chamber fell silent, tension thick enough to cut. Alara's heart raced as she looked around at the stern faces. I need this from you. Support me or allow me to forge my own destiny. Lady Mara beamed at her, pride shimmering in her eyes. Alara speaks the truth. Every day we encourage our people to follow their hearts. Shouldn't you have the same right? Counselor Vark's gaze narrowed. You are young, Alara. You may not understand the consequences of your actions. I'm learning every day and I am not afraid of growth, she replied. I won't let fear dictate my choice. Another counselor spoke, his voice softer than Vark's. If we allow you to turn your back on tradition, what message does that send to our people? The message that we are flexible, that we can adapt. That happiness and love matter, Alara responded fiercely. Nothing great was ever built on outdated traditions. More murmurs rippled through the council and Alara felt her resolve strengthening. We can discuss this further, Vark said reluctantly, crossing his arms. But you must understand your connection to the house. I do, she assured, meeting each counselor's gaze. And I choose to steer my own course. Not for the house, but for myself. The air crackled with anticipation and the council members exchanged looks, weighing their options. Suddenly, Seth leaned forward, a warm smile breaking his earlier stoicism. Perhaps it's time we start valuing personal happiness, Alara. It could lead to a stronger future. Might I suggest this arrangement could even strengthen our alliances? Lady Mara added. A fresh perspective can lead to innovative bonds. Vark's expression softened, the tension in his shoulders easing slightly. Then we revised the alliance to include Evan as a legitimate prospect. However, this requires both your consent and a genuine commitment to the future of our house. Alara's heart soared. Thank you. I promise to honor my lineage while still pursuing my dreams. As the council deliberated further, Alara felt weight lifting off her shoulders. They were listening. Choices mattered. Once the meeting concluded, Alara stepped outside where the sun greeted her like an old friend. Excitement bubbled within her, knowing she was free to explore love and happiness. Mara, she exclaimed, turning to her friend. We did it. They listened. Of course they did. You were fierce, Mara replied, her smile radiant. And you chose your truth. Alara's heart raced with newfound hope. I want to share this with Evan immediately. All in good time. But let's celebrate first. You've earned that, Mara said, pulling her into a brief hug. But Alara's thoughts flooded back to Evan and a determination surged within her. No, I need to find him now. All right then, let's go. As they made their way through the market streets, scenes of familiar wonders unfolded around them. Alara couldn't help but smile, feeling the vibrancy of life pulsating around her. When they finally spotted Evan at a nearby stall, she rushed toward him, a sense of urgency fueling her steps. He looked up and surprise painted his features as he met her halfway. Alara, you look, he started, but Alara interrupted him, unable to contain her excitement. I did it. I talked to the council and they listened. What? Really? His eyes widened in disbelief. That's fantastic. What happened? I stood my ground about us, she continued, breathless. They're willing to consider my choices for the first time. And maybe, just maybe, you will be part of my future. Evan's expression transformed from disbelief to joy, radiating like a star. You did that? They agreed? Still a work in progress, but yes. They're open to it now. You matter to me, Evan. I can't believe it, he said, pulling her into a warm embrace. You're incredible, Alara. You fought for what you wanted. She hugged him tightly, feeling the shared warmth envelop her. I couldn't have done it without your support. You gave me the courage to face them. When they broke apart, Evan looked deeply into her eyes. So, what happens next? All I know is, I want to explore this connection with you, she said, feeling her heart race anew. Let's see where this journey takes us. Evan smiled brightly, and Alara's heart swelled. Then let's explore together, no matter where it leads. I'm ready if you are. More than ready, she replied, excitement threading through her words. Let's embark on this adventure. Together, they stepped into the vibrant market, laughter and possibilities swirling around them. Their future was unwritten, but with every stride, it hovered closer, filled with love, dreams, and choices made together.